Welcome to Tehachapi, the City of Tehachapi's podcast, where we share conversations with local leaders, business owners, and community members. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to follow and subscribe to learn something new and discover ways to get involved in our community.
Hello and welcome back to Tehachapi. Maya Acosta here, and we have some fun news, some exciting events happening this weekend. We have Dave Walter and Micah Martin with our Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association joining us today to tell us all about the 2025 Field Day happening this weekend. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining me.
Thank you, Maya.
So I am excited to learn what you guys have in store for this weekend. We had you on last year to talk about the event, and it sounded like it was a great success for you. This is a big annual event for you, right? What exactly is Field Day all about?
Field Day, the object is to contact as many stations as possible and to learn to operate in abnormal situations, less than optimal conditions. So we're operating at High Country Park in Bear Valley, off-grid. We have solar panels, batteries, generators, and we will be setting up antennas. It's an emergency preparedness drill. So we are out there with our food, water, tents. A few of us will be camping. I'll try camping for the first time. I've had all the stuff in my car just in case, but I guess I'll try it out this year, maybe. And it's kind of a contest, but they go through a lot of space. This is not a contest, but there is points, and as Dave can attest to, a lot of people do it for the points, but it's actually a way to get people out of their comfort zone into a spot where if there was an emergency, no power is available, we can set up anywhere. We did Winter Field Day, and we had some hail, snow, sleet out at Bright Lake, but we still had people come, and even County Supervisor Chris Parlier came out and gave us a certificate for coming, and we had a few people come in, and one of the guys came in, tested, and I think he got to general, didn't he? He yes. Tested and passed the first test and the second test and got general, and just because he heard about us being out there, came out and got it. So we actually had people come out in the hail and snow, and it was cold.
Yeah, I believe it.
But we're supposed to be able to operate in all conditions, so it proved we could.
Yeah, absolutely. What a better way to put the knowledge and the skills to the test than this kind of real environment of harsh weather and harsh conditions. So very cool. But the whole gist of this is practicing emergency communications using ham radios, right? So tell me a little bit more about TARA for folks who don't know, what you guys do and what sort of resources are offered through your group.
TARA is the Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association. We're the local ham radio group, and I get asked this a lot. Well, amateurs, so you're not really, but you got a license. And I did look it up on the official rules. Amateur means operators may not receive payment for their services. So we do take a test, and some of us know what to do, especially Dave. I'm more of a plug-and-play guy, and I have to call Dave if I have a question or something. But we are trained, and amateur only means we don't get paid for what we do. Our FCC license prohibits it. But we do accept donations, Maya. And we also go out and we participate in various community activities. We're usually in the background wearing our colorful vests. Mountain Festival, we'll be doing communications. We helped find some lost kids last year, and we actually got a congratulations from the mayor and city council, the chamber, and that. But, it's more of a just walking around and being visible, and people know we're safe. And where cell phones, you might not hear it with the loud music going on, and texting, you'll miss it, but we're only listening to our radios, so we know what's going on at all times. And so that's what helps out with that. And we also help with the Salvation Army commodities. It's good practice for us in case of an emergency. We go out and we help manage traffic of people going through the line to get that. And we've been approached by different organizations to help out because STEM is good for learning, because ham radio covers electronics, science, technology. Even some of the contacts I've made, I have to, where the heck is that country? And I got to look it up on Google Earth or something to figure out where I am.
So it's a pretty unique skill to have. As you were saying, it covers math and science and beyond communications.
Right.
So it covers all these sorts of different disciplines. For folks listening, I don't know, maybe we have some very young listeners, young as myself. What is ham radio? If we could explain it to a kindergartner, what is it?
Well, if you went to, say, Walmart and you saw the little walkie-talkies that might say 25-mile range, I guess technically that's a possibility if you're on Mount Everest and the wind was at your back and everything was perfect, but realistically that wouldn't work. But it's radio to radio. But ham radio expands from going from the old-time Morse code was the first communications to we have voice. Morse code is still popular. We have advanced digital use. You can use a old cell phone that's no longer connected as a computer to send pictures over the radio. If you're familiar with the old dial-up from AOL or something, the noises it makes, the ham radio can turn sounds or turn pictures or digital or even emails into sounds, send it over the radio, and then rebuild it on the receiving radio so you have an email, a radiogram, or even a picture. So we can send either short range, or if there was a big disaster where we needed to make communications outside of Kern County or further, we can send a radiogram, an email to someplace further, say Arizona or Oregon, and then they're unaffected. They can go back into regular cell phones and contact people and say, okay, the person over here, they're okay, they're doing good. This is what happened. And I believe Paradise had ham radio operators that helped send messages to the loved ones that, okay, they got a call from somewhere way far away, but because cell phones were out, cell phones only last, the cell phone towers only last so long, and then they go down. And I know people in Sand Canyon are well aware of this. They asked us for help, and we helped them set up a radio neighborhood watch. There's also one starting up in Golden Hills, just in case of emergencies like that. And Dave can probably fill in on the more technical stuff.
Well, there's a lot of amateur radio in general is a hobby that's been around for probably over some time. And I guess in the United States, there's over 750,000 amateurs. And in California, close to 60,000.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people involved in the hobby. And as Mike is related to, it's quite varied in the different aspects of it, not only in emergency standing, but like you said, it's a hobby. A lot of people strive to talk to as many countries as they can or as many states as they can. And age is really no deterrent. We have people as young as probably 8 years old and people as old as over 100 that have been licensed. And I know that when I was a student, if the teacher had come to me and said, I'm going to give you a test and I'll give you all the questions with the correct answers, I would have been quite delighted. And that happens to be what the situation is testing with amateur radio. They give you all the questions with the correct answers and you study it up and take the test. So it's really quite simple, and there are multiple levels of licensing which have added privileges as you go. So it's quite a thrill to get on and talk to somebody in Russia, and English being the primary language, and we never have any problem talking to them. So
it really bridges gaps. And I mean, today in our world, everybody has a cell phone in their hand or in their pocket, and it can be challenging at times to think of what would happen if an emergency were to occur and cell towers go down. Ham radio is really all you have aside from, face-to-face communication, maybe pigeon, notes by pigeons, but ham radio is kind of everlasting, right? It's there in the instance that there's no other way to communicate.
Exactly. We can speak with our handhelds using an antenna repeater easily. I used to live in Bakersfield. I can take part with my handheld using the antenna repeater, talk to Tehachapi group all the time. Through networked antenna repeaters, we can talk as far as Australia, New Orleans, wherever. But as far as locally, our local repeater can go as far north as, is it Fresno?
yeah,
Probably Fresno, and south, I'm not sure.
Depending on the location of their station. So
Yeah, because we're up on a mountain, so it retransmits everything. So if there was an emergency, our antenna repeaters are off the grid, solar powered, batteries. So even in the snow, they're still going and recharging during the day. So yeah, if power goes out, we still have that. And even if our antennas went down or our repeaters went down, we still have line of sight communications, and we can redeploy up on top of a mountain if we needed to and continue communications. So we can relocate in a matter of maybe, an hour to set up on top of a mountain to continue communications if everything went bad.
and most emergencies, ham radio is the one item that is able to continue communicating when everything else is down, because we rely on nothing as far as that goes. We have our own sources of power, and so it's been well established in the emergencies here in California and elsewhere that amateur radio is the steadfast last resort.
There's a saying that's popular that I put up my signs on my information booth and a lot of times on our social media. When all else fails, ham radio works. So, even if it goes down to Morse code or something, we can still get the signal out. We know how to get up to the right spot to send the signal on to pass it to the next person. And then with our training, we know we don't embellish, we don't expand on what, we just copy the message exactly. So it just continues. So the game of telephone doesn't get expanded. It just continues theoretically correctly. We have what is the count? The notes or the word count?
Yeah, we have radiograms that we send out. Basically, have a count of 25. So you have to keep the message and make it very succinct. And aside from, just as a side note, in addition to emergency communication and things, we generate messages, common day messages, happy birthday, happy anniversary, a lot of things like that. So I would encourage people to reach out to the amateur radios and send a radiogram via them to a relative or somebody in regard to something like that.
Very cool. Now, for the field day, you talked about setting up, being self-sufficient basically with having your own power, being able to set up your receptor. Is that right? Or what exactly will you guys be practicing at the field day? So it's like the whole setup, right? If there was an emergency going down, you guys are setting up kind of a command post in a way, right? Of
Pretty
how to
much
communicate with folks.
A communication center. We would have, I think for this field day, we're going to have digital communications. We're going to have voice communications on one radio that'll be high frequency, which bounces around the ionosphere. And then my radio will be for the guests and for myself, because I'm not learned enough yet to use the others. So I will be using just the standard peer-to-peer to show people how to do it. So I think we're going to have 3 radios working, and they'll be all solar powered. And the main power for the big radios is big antenna, just putting up a great big antenna, and that's what gets it out there. The little handhelds are line of sight because they're small antennas, but the big radios that go far, that take a while to set up the antenna lines and that.
Yeah, and I think in the case of an emergency, probably the participation level would be a little bit higher than it would be for one of these voluntary field day things. But we basically would set up a transmitter, an antenna, and function in the way that we'd be requested to do so in passing messages and following the emergency.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the field day is a great way for folks to come and try it out if they have no experience with ham. Can I ask why people need an operating license to use ham radio? They can't just, get on the radio and start talking to people?
In the early days, it was kind of the Wild West. Just anybody could start transmitting, and they weren't tuned to specific frequencies as well as it is today. So one person would be transmitting just a whole lot of power that was spread all over a frequency, and then the next person would be sending it, and they would interfere with each other. So eventually, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, I'm trying to remember what was on the test a long time ago and what the ARRL says. It eventually, the FCC had to intervene and say, okay, first you need to know what you're doing, because you're actually building a radio, and then you don't, if it's hot, don't touch it, basic information, but you need to learn how not to interfere with other people. And nowadays you need to know not to interfere with police, fire, cell phones, any other radio communications. So we have specific frequencies that we can use that are open to us, whereas we don't interfere with other people using it, businesses, cell phones, emergency services.
Now, there's a fair amount of accountability. We're all administered call signs, which are under our name. And so we're responsible for, as Mike has said, staying within the frequency ranges that the FCC has allocated to us, and also to respect the rules. Obviously, one reason to not transmit anywhere is it's against the law, the FCC rules, and people that do go against the regulations are susceptible to pretty sizable fines, as well as loss of your equipment and your license. So it's a gentleman's sport, if you will, and most people are very cordial and stick within the boundaries. So it's a good hobby to be in.
Yeah. And you've helped facilitate people on their journey of getting their ham operating license, right?
Correct.
How do you guys go about that?
My typical spiel when I'm out at my information booth is I will carry you can get a ham radio off of Amazon for around $25, a legitimate ham radio. You don't need a license to listen, but to transmit you do. And my spiel is, hey, you can get this radio for about $25 on Amazon. It could be here in a couple of days. The test is a 35-question multiple choice test. And like Dave said earlier, there's free apps, free websites, paid apps, paid websites, but all the websites have the exact questions, the exact answers, because unlike other things, other tests you take, we want you to, and actually the FCC wants you to pass. And it's a basic overview of everything. You can actually tank certain section and still pass, which I banked on that for the math section. I've got just enough so I can pass it, but I learned everything else. And it touches on the basics of everything. When I was learning the test, I'm like, I'm never going to use satellite communications. I'm never going to send pictures. But now that's what I do when I'm doing demos, especially with the younger audience, with kids, or when we're doing demos. I'll take a picture with the radio and then have my laptop over at the booth and let me take your picture. And then I have this volume up so you can hear the squealing sound going, okay, let's go see you build the picture. And it slowly comes up on the laptop and mommy, look. So that's kind of exciting. And I kind of got into that because I've taken the test. I'm never going to need that. And I just learned enough to pass the test, but then I get it. And the stuff I thought I'm going to need this, I haven't bothered with it. And when I need to answer a question, I'll call Dave and Dave, okay, what's this? And usually the first question is, okay, did you actually plug it in? You know what? Let me try something else and I'll get back to you. So,
well, the thing is too is I'll throw in one more point about the exams. It's multiple choice.
Yes.
So that even makes it easier.
Yeah.
But we do, in line with helping people become amateurs, aside from what Mike has mentioned, we do test. We have VE testing, volunteer exams given here every other month. And so we certainly encourage people, if they're interested, to get in touch with us, and we can perhaps put them with a study partner, help them along, and then they don't have to go anywhere. We exam here in Tehachapi itself. So we've been able to add a number of new members to TARA within this past year using the exam sessions.
Awesome. What's your group size looking like nowadays? Do you have any idea?
I think it's over 70.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think we have 72 right now.
70, and before last year it was probably 50.
Yeah. So we're growing. And unlike when you see the disaster movies, there's the typical thought, and I thought this too, was when you're watching a zombie apocalypse movie or something, the ham radio guys, the old guy in the corner with the big mahogany setup with vacuum tubes and all that. And nowadays, $20 radio on Amazon, and we have a lot of younger people. We have females. One famous person that I can think of off the top of my head would be Claire Scotty. I know you know her. She learned ham radio, got her license, so she gets to hear us, and once in a while we'll be talking about something, and she'll just pipe in and say something if she's not too busy doing her stuff. So
Very nice.
So that's fun. We had donated to her a radio when we joined the Chamber of Commerce, and I gave her one. I think it was during the wine. It was the Wine Walk or Mountain Festival, so she could listen to us and just hear what's going on. And she said she had to go to she had to go to the chamber, and she could still hear what was going on and that. And then she ended up going ahead and getting her license so she could talk back. So
Yeah.
it's helped her out. And we've had, how many females do we have in the club now? Like 7, 8?
There are, because it's a hobby and a family type thing, a lot of times the parents and the children are all involved.
Oh, cool.
And we have several husband-wife teams that are both amateurs.
That's awesome.
And some that aren't, but over the years, I think they persuade each other perhaps to join the flock. But it's there are a number of people that are actors, there are officials in the government that are amateur radio operators or have been. Tim Allen is an amateur radio operator. Barry Goldwater was one. And then there are some Shaws and people up in the government that are amateur radio operators. So it's something that appeals to a broad spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys meet on a monthly basis for your general membership meeting, correct?
Yes.
And is that still at the police department?
Yes, 7 o'clock Thursday at the police department. It's the second Thursday of the month. At 7 o'clock at the police department. Everyone's welcome to come by. And if you can't make that, of course, we have Wireless Wednesday at Taco Sandwich, and they've been great letting us come by. Everyone in the community is really great when we come around. Oh, you're one of the radio guys. I try and wear, my hat and my radio on the side so people know who I am. So it kind of gets us noticed and that. So it's good.
What even makes it better is when they say it with a smile.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Instead of, oh, you're one of them.
Now, what's Wireless Wednesdays all about? This is a casual lunch meeting every week.
Yes, it began with just myself and John Dyer. We needed an extra day to meet for events coming up because we're usually doing events, and we would meet at maybe Starbucks or another coffee shop, and we have our radios and we're trying to do stuff. And as a joke, and I think everyone in Tehachapi knows, Burger King wasn't very busy most of the time. So as a joke, I said, well, let's just go to Burger King. Nobody's there. And so we started meeting there. And then I believe Joe came by and he said, oh, where are you going? I'm at Burger King. And then from there, we started mentioning, we were at Burger King, Whopper Wednesday. We just started calling it. And then more people came. And then it just became a thing. We started putting in the newspaper, and it went from there. And when Burger King closed, everyone's, well, where are we going to go now? I was like, so it's just a casual socialize, everything, no official business or anything, show and tell. And sometimes we've had people come in and say, oh, I heard you guys meet here. Are you interested in coming over to our group and teaching this? Or I have a question about this. I bought this and it doesn't work. And, well, that's a ham radio. You need a license for that. But, we'll help you get going on that. So people find us there a lot.
Very cool. And what are some other ways that people can connect with you all? You have a website or Facebook?
We have a website. It's ac6ee.org. Or it's, if you're driving or you can't write it down fast enough, if you just Google Tehachapi Ham Radio Club, it'll pop right up. I keep our Facebook and Instagram up to date with what's going on and what we're doing, that kind of a thing. So you can message us either through our website, our Facebook messaging, or our Instagram.
Great. And people can, I'm sure, find you at all these other local events too, the Mountain Fest, Apple Fest.
Oh, yeah. If we're walking around with our cool orange or yellow vests, so we're looking snazzy, and we're the ones with the cool radios. So, yeah, you can find us and ask us, and where are you guys? How can I get involved? And they'll either tell you or they'll say, go ask that guy over there, which will probably be me. So, so I have the business cards and that to give out, and I usually have little flyers with me to pass out. And we usually have a table information booth. We can get the information that way.
Great. And is there anything else about Field Day? So I suppose we should provide people with the dates and times and where this is happening. It's this weekend, right? The June 27th and 29th. So what days are that?
The actual official Field Day is Saturday and Sunday.
Gotcha.
But a lot of people, media, politicians, and a lot of people can make it on weekends. So we expanded it to, it's not actually Field Day, but we're going to have, our Field Day is also called an open house, so people can see what we do. Mm-hmm. So we will have a radiothon hall. We're not going to be contesting at that time, but we will have Friday and Saturday from 1 to 3, we will invite the public to come up and see what we're doing. We can get them on the air. If it's Friday, it's not going to be contesting, but we'll still get you on the air and you can see what we're doing and how we work it, anything like that.
Yeah, it's as you said, in Bear Valley Springs at High Country Park. It is a gated community, so anybody wanting to come from outside of the community can contact Micah or go on the website and request a gate pass. And there are maps, I think, that would be on the website of how to get there, because you do have to go up to one of the higher elevations in Bear Valley Springs. So we certainly encourage everybody, even if they're just interested in finding out something, and it's a great opportunity. We'll put you on the air.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that you get on there and talk to somebody. So.
And if you want to get out, if it's warm that weekend, you can come up to the mountain where it's a lot cooler way up there. And as Dave said, including the map, even with the map and my GPS, and I've been there several times, we went to weed eat the area that we were going to do last week. And I still missed that turn because it's down a little dirt road into the campground, and I still missed it. So starting last year, I started putting up signs going, turn here, this way, turn here. So
awesome.
You'll see balloons and signs on the way up, and then when you get to that turn that I always miss, I have big signs and caution tape and reflective everything, just because mainly for my own self, but for any guests that want to come up, they'll be able to find us.
Good deal. Key was saying Key lives up in Bear Valley, and he says that spot at the park is just beautiful. It offers great views of the whole valley below, and you can look all the way to Bakersfield. It's just a nice space to go.
And it's so high up that on my little handheld, without using repeaters or anything else, on my little handheld, I could make a contact to, I think I've hit Long Beach.
Wow.
And I think I hit Catalina Island the year before, just on my little 5-watt handheld $25 Amazon radio, just going straight just with that. I mean, that's not like the big radios like Dave would be using. They'll go a few thousand miles, but I was impressed with what I could do with my little $25 job. So yeah, it's that high up you can see everything. So
pretty cool.
It's really nice.
Now, I can't remember if it was, I swear somebody was saying that they can use ham radio to talk with the astronauts or whoever at the space station. Is that true?
Yes. In fact, the astronauts will get on sometimes when they have a break, but usually the International Space Station and several satellites have a antenna repeater on them, so you can make contacts. And the longest it'll be overhead would be at the very maximum about 7 minutes.
Okay.
As it goes over so fast. And then you have the Doppler effect, like when the train comes, it's high and then it goes low as it passes by. We have to change frequencies as it's going because it affects it that much. But I've made my very first long distance contact was over a satellite to a guy in Santa Barbara. So that was my first long distance contact that I'm very proud of, and it was over a satellite. But just my little $25 radio can pick that up. You can hear them, but trying to break into it, there's so many people over that 7-minute period trying to get in there.
Yeah.
Especially the International Space Station, it's like trying to win the lottery, trying to get in there. The smaller satellites, you have a little bit more leeway playing with the ones that aren't used so much. But yeah, using it, you can listen. listening is easy and it's very interesting, but it goes really fast because people are, this is KN6VUT, and just going really fast because they got to get that contact in and get it before the time's up and it's passed over. So, yeah.
Very cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. And I mean, what a great way to spark some new curiosity in young kids as well of, hey, maybe the chances are slim, but you could talk to somebody up there in space using this cool technology that could be life-saving if need be.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Okay, so remind us again of your website for folks to go check it out and learn more about.
AC6EE.org. Alpha Charlie 6 Echo.org, or just Google Tehachapi Ham Radio Club and we'll pop up. Also Facebook and Instagram.
Great.
We'll have it. And Facebook and Instagram, I keep that up to date pretty much daily, so everything pops up that's coming up that we're doing, including we'll be at Salvation Army. If you want to borrow a radio, you can help out Salvation Army. We're doing this, we're doing that. So I usually keep it up with what we're doing.
Awesome. All right. Mike and Dave, anything else regarding Tara or the field day this weekend?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Sim Sanitation has been donating porta potties for us, which with all our high technology and our crock pots and all the food we bring and all that, there's basic necessities that we just can't, technology away. And Sim Sanitation graciously donates their facilities for us, which is great. And this year, Wendy over at Tehachapi's Big Five, they donated $100 to us for camping gear and helped us get a couple of tents and a big cooler for us because our equipment we don't receive government grants or anything like that. We're all volunteer nonprofits, so we use our own stuff and our own money. So it's very helpful when places like that help us out.
Very cool. So you guys are glamping out there, not just camping.
Well, okay, they're camping. I have the stuff, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to do it, and they've been teasing me about this, okay, I guess I'll camp. But I've been finding over the last few months on Amazon some deals on rechargeable air pumps for an air mattress. I've got a heater. I've got the solar panels. I've got laptop ready.
We told them no saunas.
I even got a rechargeable shower pump for a shower because, I'm not an animal. I got to be clean and all that. I don't want to sweat up there for 3 days. So
that's fair.
So, and everyone's teasing me I'm going to be glamping, but hey, at least I'll be comfortable.
Most people would set up our tents and we'll have our own cots and things like that, and he's in the luxury section.
Yes.
I see.
I'm the VIP.
As the PIO, he gets
the public information. I got to look good for the club.
Right. You don't know when you could be making the camera.
Yeah, I got to be camera ready at all times.
Right.
See, I make them look good.
Exactly. you will have your makeup trailer, hair and makeup, and everything.
Well, he certainly, as a PIO, has been very valuable to Tara.
Yes.
And no question about that. So if you don't get the word out, nobody's going to hear it.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. And that's what you guys are all about. So I appreciate both of you coming in today and telling us all about Tara and the field day. It'll be a really great, fun event. And I hope lots of people come out and check it out.
Well, hopefully we'll see you.
Yes.
Hey, I don't have anything going on this weekend.
Okay.
So
Okay. And I think I've given you the study questions a few times, Maya.
I don't know if you have, but you're.
Let me get my bag.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that's kind of a running joke with the podcast is I've been suckered into being part of TCTA and being part of a play and I don't even know so many other things. So I guess it would only make sense.
As I recall, your last excuse to me at the
Yes.
the Economic Development Council was, but you got to remember your lines for the play. So I'm like, okay, I'll be back to you on that.
That brain space is.
One saving grace is, though, with the amateur radios, you just have to renew your license every 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So you've got a little bit of room to play with.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say my brain space for that is clear. So maybe it's time that I get my licensing.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you both again for coming in today.
Thanks for having us,
Pleasure.
Maya.
Of course. course. And anybody listening, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us media@tehachapicityhall.com and we can get that addressed to the right place. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and we hope to catch you back here next time on Tehachapod.
You've been listening to Tehachapod. If you have a question, a thought, or a suggestion, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We'll catch you again soon, right here on Tehachapod.